Hello and welcome to another AIC Productions video. Today I wanted to go through some of my 22 handguns. Like I mentioned in my last video, I know a lot of people are out buying a first gun or an additional gun. Right now we are in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I've been stuck at home for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that. Going a little bit crazy. But I know this is a topic that a lot of people are interested in right now. And while I'm not far from an expert, I do own several 22 handguns, and so I want to just kind of go over, if you're looking to purchase one of these, so the features, some of the quirks, and just some of the things about it. I won't talk too much about ergonomics specifically, though I will mention how they fit in my hand. I'm mostly looking just at their function and how they work for me. Now, I do plan on doing a video with actual, not accuracy, but reliability with different ammunitions. Right now I can't do that because while I have a bunch of ammunition, it's all the same, and so I can't try different ammunitions, and I can't buy different ammunitions right now. So if you want to go ahead and support that upcoming video, I do have some affiliate and support links down in the description down below. Let me know you want to see that by throwing some support this way, so that when ammo does become available, I can make that video. So let's go ahead and start off with my Ruger Wrangler. So I bought this a few months ago, and I have really enjoyed it. Now, I'm not much of a revolver person. My wife is a person in the family who really likes a revolver, but having a revolver in 22 makes a lot of sense. If you buy a particular batch of bulk ammo that just isn't very reliable, man, a 22 revolver will shoot that stuff all day long. In fact, a lot of times I bring this with me, not necessarily to shoot, but to shoot the ammo that my autoloaders wouldn't fire, whether they be light strikes or had some feed issues or whatever. I'll throw them in here and shoot them all day long. I love this gun for that. This is my second 22 revolver. The previous one was a Heritage Arms. I like this one better. I sold the Heritage Arms and have kept this one. I love the aftermarket grips I put on here. They are absolutely beautiful. They cost nearly half as much as what I paid for the gun. So some of the features of this gun is it is a gate loading revolver, and so once you open that gate, it does spin freely. There is the plunger here that you use to eject rounds. You see that pin comes out, pushes those rounds out, and then you spin to the next one. And I apologize, I'm doing this around my camera, so it's a little bit harder to do. And then you load your rounds the same way, put them in there, close the gate, lock the drum, and you're ready to fire. The great thing about a revolver, and one of the reasons why my wife is so interested in them, is she is left-handed. And because there aren't any real controls outside of the hammer and the trigger, a revolver is great for a left-handed shooter. So if you're left-handed, you might want to, and you don't find semi-autos very good for you, you might want to look at a revolver if you haven't already. So this is definitely a recommend. It's very inexpensive, less than $200 for this gun. I think I paid $180 out the door for it, plus the cost of the grips, which were like another $80, $85, something like that for those. And yeah, just very happy with this gun. Somebody asked me about disassembly on these revolvers. Like this one are super easy. Open the gate, you push on this pin, and again, I apologize, I'm doing this around a camera. When this comes out, the cylinder drops out, and you can clean the gun very easily. It's another great thing about a revolver. Very easy to keep clean and manage the gun. There we go. And we just go ahead and test function. Make sure that's locked. Everything looks great. Alright, so let's go ahead and move over to the Browning Buckmark. So this is another gun that I got specifically for my wife. She wanted this gun. She really liked the way it looked, and I bought it for her, and it's not my favorite. There's a couple things about it that I don't like. I don't like the way you disassemble it. I'm not going to do it on camera because you have to unscrew screws on it to disassemble it, or you have to not disassemble it. Go ahead and lock that open, and just clean the barrel with the gun assembled and oil it. It's just not very good for that. In my opinion, I think there are other guns with better designs. Though I do love the way it looks. It has a really nice trigger on it. A couple of other interesting things about it is the safety on this is very stiff. Now this gun is fairly new, but this is probably the stiffest safety of any gun I own. And so if you're just doing, if it's, especially to put it back on safe, just really stiff. The other thing is the mag release. Here you push it with your thumb there, and it's a very stiff button again. And this grip is very wide, and so I kind of have to adjust my hand position to be able to hit the safety or the mag release. And so it is not my favorite for those reasons. So, but I do like the way it looks. Ergonomics overall are pretty decent. I like the grip on there. It just, the disassembly is unfavorable, and the grip being so wide makes the mag button difficult to press easily. And the safety, I'm sure that will just break in after I've used it. I usually don't use the safety because these guns are in my house unloaded, go to the range unloaded, and are out, and you know, they're being used at the range, and then they're put away unloaded. So safety isn't very often engaged on these. Alright, so the next gun we're going to talk about is my Ruger Mark IV 2245 Light. This is my new one. I actually now have two of these. Being that I own two of them, that means I definitely really like this gun. It's a great gun. Highly, highly recommended if you want a semi-auto plinker that's light, accurate, and just overall fun to shoot and looks fun and looks good. Definitely a good looking gun. A couple things with the ergonomics on this. The button, as you can see, I don't have to adjust my position of my grip to drop that mag out. The safety is a lot better safety than the Buckmark. The one thing that is a bit of an issue for me, let me go ahead and cock this. With the mag in there, the release, bolt release is very stiff, especially with the magazine in there. Even without the magazine, it's significantly stiffer than the other guns I own. The great thing about a Mark IV or Ruger Mark is the aftermarket for these is massive. One of the things I'm definitely going to be getting for this gun is here at the end where you pull the bolt, you can get what's called a halo. Tandem Cross makes them. They're like 30 or 40 bucks, maybe 50 bucks. Kind of pricey for what it is, but you can get that, and it makes pulling this out a lot easier, less likely to pinch a finger. The trigger on this isn't, I don't feel quite as good as the Buckmark. There's a lot of take up on there, but overall a really nice, really good gun. Disassembly on this could not be easier. It's literally a button press. Take it apart. There you go. You can clean the gun just like that. Put it back together, and you're good to go. So, very good. If you're looking for a 22 autoloader, definitely high on my recommend list. Alright, the next gun we're going to look at is my Walther Colt in 22 long rifle. I love this gun. This, I think of all of my guns, this is my favorite. Big part of that is I'm a big fan of 1911s, and obviously this is a 1911 style. There's a couple differences, obviously, besides being that it's a 22 versus a 45. It does not have a tilting barrel. It is a fixed barrel on this gun. Now, a lot of parts that are compatible with 1911s also fit this gun, so you get like your grip panels, I believe the mainspring housing, the beaver tail, grip safety, the manual safety, I believe at least part of it is. The sights are compatible with a lot of other 1911s. I believe the trigger is as well. So you get a lot of features that, even though while this gun specifically doesn't have a large aftermarket, it is a gun that you do have some aftermarket parts. You can customize it. Obviously this grip is not the grip that came with it. It came with cheap plastic grips. Disassembly on this is just like any other 1911. You push in up here. Oh, again, sorry, I apologize. I'm doing this around the camera. Pushing on the button, this spring comes out, and then this comes out, and then instead of going forward like most 1911s, it pulls back and lifts up. All right, one of my favorite things about this gun is the trigger. It is amazing. There's no take up on it. I'll go ahead and dry fire. You shouldn't dry fire 22s very often, but we'll go ahead and do it for this. It's right there. Super tight. And the reset is right there. So super tight, super clean, super crisp trigger pull on that. It's really nice. when you're firing. This also comes with a 12 round magazine in most states, unless you have laws limiting you to 10. So really nice gun. One big complaint on this gun is that the magazines are expensive and hard to find. So I did buy a couple that I found inexpensively compared to what they normally cost. Still were not cheap, and so I have 3 magazines for it, and that should be good for my use. The last gun I'm going to show you is my Walther P22. The reason why I'm showing it to you last is it's my least favorite of the guns I own. So this was a gift to me, well, I shouldn't say to me, to my wife, from my father-in-law on the day we got married. He thought it was hilarious to give her a gun when she was getting married. So, and when we got it, I've been married now almost 12 years. It was a used gun then, so it was not a new gun, it was a used gun, and it's had kind of a rough life, and this gun is about as unreliable as I've had a gun be. It does not like to feed ammo, it does not like to fire ammo, and it does not like to eject ammo. Other than that, it's a great gun. It has some interesting features. First being, instead of being a button for the mag release, you have this little lever down here. And you push on and it ejects the mag. The great thing about that is this has both ambi safety as well as this mag release that is accessible from both sides. Makes for a great left-handed gun. Again, I am not left-handed, my wife is, and so I actually ordered the new version of this, and I'll compare those two if you're interested when I get it in eventually. But hopefully that is a lot more reliable of a gun, and so she will be able to shoot a semi-auto she's more comfortable with, that is more suited to a left-handed shooter. The other thing about this gun that is interesting is the safety is not like your standard manual safety that prevents the trigger from being pulled. It is in fire right now. That's the other thing, is it's the opposite. So down is safe, up is fire. All the other ones that have a manual safety is down is fire, up is safe. So this gun is now set to fire. We'll set it safe. You see the hammer is not pulled back. This is a dual action, single action, which is fairly uncommon for a 22. You can see right there the hammer is not touching the firing pin, so I can dry fire it safely. If I go ahead and lower the safety, you'll see that it now will come in contact with that firing pin. It's no longer safe to dry fire. Pull the safety down and it now puts a bar there, and the hammer can no longer hit the firing pin. So anyways, the disassembly on this gun, again, is fairly easy, toolless, which I very much appreciate for simple maintenance. You pull this down, the slide pulls all the way back up, lifts up, and then pushes forward. I'm not going to do that at this time because the spring is not captive. It will shoot across the room, and I will spend 10 minutes putting the gun back together because I'm not very good at putting this gun back together. I don't have all that many rounds through just because it has not been a very reliable gun. But for its very small size, it actually fits in my hand quite well. I feel like I get a much better grip on this than, say, like my LCP, which is obviously much smaller, but it has, this is also a fairly petite gun. It has a Picatinny rail on the front for if you want to put like a flashlight or a red dot or something on there. So overall, if this was a more reliable gun, I would like this gun a lot more. But as of right now, it is my least favorite, simply because it might as well not even shoot. My second least favorite is the Browning Buckmark because of its disassembly process. My next one, and this really isn't a least favorite at this point, it's a very good gun and I really like, let's see if I can get that in the picture, is my Mark IV, which is an excellent gun. Along with that, as I'd put my revolver, which again, just a really nice gun. And then my favorite is my Colt. So if you have any questions about these guns, feel free to ask in the comment section down below. If you want to see that video on ammo reliability with these guns specifically, again, support me. I'll do my best to get that out as soon as ammo is available. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.